Karray Bradshaw, representing TBA, Spit Bucket, working for FightSaga.com. We're right here with Eric Gomez. My first question for you, Eric Gomez, can you talk about the Hall of Famer, the guy who helped you out in W.A.W and how illustrious he was for your career?
Yeah, I mean, he's a legendary promoter, matchmaker in boxing, with over 50 years of experience. I was lucky. I was very, very lucky that he took me under his wing. He taught me a lot of what I know, and just a special feeling.
Okay, and can you tell me, another question I have for you about W.A.W talking, just tell me the matchmaking, like what was so special about his matchmaking?
If I had to say what was special is, he recognized the styles. He knew how to match up the fighters. That's one of the first things he taught me is, you have to know the styles, and what makes good fights, what doesn't make good fights, so that was something that was very, very important. But also he was very persuasive in the way he talked to fighters, because it's not easy sometimes, convince guys to go in there with another tough guy that could possibly beat them. So that's one of the things that I really admire about him.
Okay, and my next question with you, can you give any updates on, Golden Boy, with the fighters, do y'all have any slots with the Zone or Thriller? Can you give the boxing world an update on that?
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is, we're working very hard behind the scenes, and we'll have news shortly.
Okay, and speaking on this Virgil Ortiz versus Kavaliauskas, can you give me the thoughts on making this fight for Virgil Ortiz with Kavaliauskas, being, if not, one of the hardest punchers at 147, and a lot of people are avoiding him. What was y'all thoughts in putting together this fight?
It's the styles, the styles. He's got a perfect style to make Virgil look great. It's a tough fight. I would like to say or think that this is probably the last test right before fighting for a world title. And it's an important test. So he needs these type of fights. He needs these type of fights so he gets the experience that's needed or required so he can challenge anybody in the world.
So when you look at Virgil Ortiz, would you say in this fight, would footwork be the best, observation for Virgil Ortiz, stylistically fighting a guy with Kavaliauskas who has explosive power?
Yeah, it's a combination of footwork. It's going to be a combination of using the jab. Mean Machine is very aggressive, so he comes in pretty aggressively. So the jab's going to be key to keep him off of him and be able to, throw his combinations.
Okay, let's talk about Oscar De La Hoya. He got a fight coming up September 11th. Have you been in training camp with him to see how good he's been looking?
Yes. Yeah, he's training hard. He's looking great. It's incredible because, he hasn't fought in 13 years, but for him, it's almost like riding a bike. So he gets back in there and you see him working, and his hand speed looks just as good as it did when he was in his prime. Yeah, he's getting in shape. He's looking good.
So, but a lot of people question Oscar being 48 years old, coming back into the sport of boxing. This fight was originally, I think it was an 8-round of 2 minutes. Now they sanctioned it to a 10-round, 3-minute full fight. So, is there any, questions or, about Oscar coming back at 48 years old, taking on a guy in Belfort who's 8 years younger than him?
No, not at all. I mean, he's taking it serious like he always has. Whenever you get in there and fight in that ring, you have to take it serious. Whether it's 2 minutes, whether it's 3, whatever it is, there's someone on the other side that's trying to rip your head off. So you have to take it serious.
So another thing, y'all have a rising young superstar in Ryan Garcia. Everybody around the world, we waiting on Ryan to come back. You have any updates on Ryan Garcia when possibly he'll be in the ring?
Ryan's getting ready. He wants to come back sometime later this year. He's still doing some therapy, and he's when he's 100%, that's when we'll go ahead and we'll get the fight done and announce it.
And another thing, JoJo Diaz. It was talks about him versus Devin Haney, JoJo Diaz versus Ryan Garcia. What's the most realistic fight for JoJo Diaz going forward?
JoJo wants to fight Ryan Garcia. That's the fight he wants. Ryan wants to fight JoJo Diaz, so we're going to look into it. We're going to explore that.
And I have a piggyback.